Supersonic dance attack.
Hey everyone, Dancentral here, and welcome to my long-awaited games room tour. Now, I've waited to do this video for about a year to a year and a half. So many people have been able to do one, which is absolutely epic. And I've always wanted to do one myself. I've always been really jealous of people that've got their own kind of areas where they can do their gaming and everything. It looks really cool. And I've just been so jealous and just wanted to do my own one for ages, and I didn't think I'd be able to do one until I got my own place. But it just so happens that I've actually managed to actually change a room in the house into a games room. It's mainly a games room, but it's also a bit of a music room as well, because I've got my piano in there and my keyboard, and I've got a few music books in there as well, just because they're two of my biggest passions, music and gaming. So I wanted to put them together really to create the ultimate, for myself, the ultimate heaven, really. So yeah, this is going to be, as I said, my games room tour. This is also, as you would have seen in the title, for a 700 subscribers special. So thank you ever so much, everyone, for subscribing, for showing me continued support, for commenting on my videos, for putting comments on my channel, for just being there really, and just really kind of making me feel that it's worthwhile doing videos, however sparse they end up being, due to obviously my commitments at work and college. So yeah, just it just makes it so worthwhile when I do get a chance to do a video. I just feel so good about doing that video because I know that you guys are going to enjoy watching it when it's uploaded. So yeah, thanks so much everyone. It means so much to me. It's just great because I absolutely love making videos to bits, and to know that you guys are enjoying it is just an absolute bonus. So thank you very much guys, and without further ado, this is going to be my absolutely awesome games room. So happy to do this because so many people have done it, and I'm actually getting to do one myself. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, guys, I'm just going to try and open that as far as the door will go. I'm going to stand back a bit and just sort of show you guys a little bit of the room from where I'm standing. Now I'm using a Kodak HD minicam, and the quality is actually pretty decent, but obviously I can't sort of get everything in the one shot, so I have to sort of pan up and down so you guys can see everything. And basically what I've done, guys, is I've got two big bookcases in here full of games, and I've also got a smaller bookcase for consoles. One of the tall bookcases, this one here, I got for free because my parents didn't need it anymore. It was in the living room when they gave it to me, so I brought it upstairs. This one over here I paid for, I actually bought myself. And this one down here, this smaller one, is another one that I bought myself. So I basically bought a big one and a small one, and the other big one I got for free, basically. So what I'm going to do is, guys, I'm just going to pan round the room. I know it's not going to be very good because obviously I should really be able to zoom out, but it's not very easy. But don't worry, I will home in on everything in a sec. I just hope you guys can see this alright. Okay, so let's start. So obviously we've come in here. Let's start from this side then. So up here, guys, we've got my PC collection. Now this is a combination of both my games and my brother's games, and I've just put them all together in alphabetical order. So if I just start on the top shelf, guys, I don't know how well you can see that, so apologies if it's quite dark or if the quality is not brilliant. It should be alright, I'm hoping, because this camera's generally quite good. But this is, as I said, my PC collection. Got a fair amount of games, so I'm quite happy with it. Just hope I'm not going through it too fast. There's a few more games here. And at the bottom here I've got what my brother bought. Is a Fallout 3 Collector's Edition tin, which is really nice. Paid $22.99 for it pre-owned, and it comes with the main character in the game as like a bobblehead thing, which is pretty neat. And then here I've got a PC joypad, so I can plug it in via USB. There's a software there to actually play PC games with a joypad rather than the mouse and keyboard, so that's really cool. And above here I've got Seen It for the Xbox 360 on the side there, and the box for Sega Superstars with the Game on the iToy on the other shelf. Basically, I couldn't fit them on that bookcase, which is why they're up there, basically. I know they're not PC related, but there's nowhere else I could really fit them. So anyway, coming down, this is my console bookcase. Again, there was no point in me getting a massive bookcase for the consoles because I've got more games than consoles. You know, I'd end up filling up 3 shelves with consoles, and then I'd have all these blank shelves and nothing to fill them up with, so there's not much point. So with the consoles, I've got a smaller bookcase because I've got more games, you know, I've got less consoles. So if we home in on the top shelf then, guys, it is quite dark, so I do apologise, the lighting in here is not that bright, but I hope you can see it fairly well. That's basically the PS2 Chunky, and then down here I've got 2 Game Boy Advance. My shadow's not helping with the light. 2 Game Boy Advance SPs, the blue one's my brother's and the silver one's mine. Then we've got, the light's really bad. There we go, that's all right-ish. 2 Game Boy Colours then. Purple one on the left is mine, and the turquoise coloured one is my brother's. And then there's one of my Sonic plushies. I will get onto the absolutely amazing big one that Wendy got me in a bit. And then here, that's my Nintendo DS. It is in there, but it's shut up at the moment. Everyone knows what Nintendo DS looks like. So basically, inside there, I've got a black DS Lite, which I absolutely love. And I lost the charger, but then found it again the other day, so I was really chuffed about that. So there we go. And then here we've got my Nintendo 64. Again, you know, the lid, I lost, well, I didn't lose the lid. I got it off my cousin, and the lid had already gone, so that was a bit of a shame, but absolutely love the N64, classic console. And then in front of it, these I did, if any of you ever watched my Sonic the Hedgehog collection video I did a while back, I mentioned these and said that I couldn't find them and that I would try and find them for another video. Well, I've now since found them, and these are just basically Sonic McDonald's toys, really, that you got. And they're just like little mini games with different characters on. So we've got Knuckles there, got 2 of those. Got a Shadow one, and there's another type of Shadow one there. And this one is a Sonic one. And I don't know how well you can see in the light, guys, but if you sort of zoom in there, you can see a still from Green Hill Zone from Sonic 1. It's not too bad. But yeah, Green Hill Zone. Cool! Oops, just dropped it on the floor. Right, okay. So that's that top shelf, guys. If we pan down, here we've got the PAL SNES. Don't have an NTSC NES. Don't really feel personally I need to get an NTSC an NTSC SNES, sorry, because the PAL UK PAL one does me nicely. I mean, I may look to maybe at one point get one, but honestly, it does me fine. I've got enough games for the PAL SNES to keep me satisfied and occupied for ages. And then moving across, we've got my PS1. This isn't the Slim, just didn't get around to getting a Slim. So this is a normal sort of, I suppose you could maybe call it a chunky. I don't know, but yeah, it's a normal PS1, and it's not a modded one. You know, you can get somewhere you can take the lid off at the back and put blank discs in. This isn't that one at all. This is just literally your standard, you know, PS1 chunky that just plays PS1 games. Basically, you can't play, you know, any other types. It's not modded or anything. Moving across, we've got my Sega Dreamcast. I do have 2 Sega Dreamcasts. One's not necessarily completely had it, but it's glitchy. Sometimes it will reset itself, but it doesn't do it all the time. So I've decided to keep it to see if it does correct itself, and if not, I will eventually throw it out. But I have got 2 Sega Dreamcasts. Right, moving down to the next shelf, we've got Master System Model 2. Don't know how well you can see. I have got 2 of them. Just underneath, there is another one. Again, you can just about make out the white writing in the corner. But there is 2 Master Systems Model 2s there. Moving across, Nintendo Wii. It's vertical to make more room. You can obviously have it horizontal, but just for the simple fact that, you know, I can get 3 consoles on the one shelf if I have it vertical. That's why I've done it like that. Moving across, obviously, the absolutely epic Mega Drive. You know, obviously X-File 2708, aka Marcus, is going for a full PAL Mega Drive collection, which is just absolutely incredible. And his collection is just like absolutely out of this world. So, you know, I love the Mega Drive as well. Don't have a great collection compared to his, but it's not too bad, and I absolutely love the console to bits. So there's that. Moving down, again, as I said before, there's another Master System Model 2 at the back, which you can't see very well when I can pull it out, but you obviously know what it looks like. So there's one there. And if I do that, you can sort of see just about that there is 2. There you go, 2 Master System 2s there. Okay, and underneath I've got one of my Philips CDIs. I've got 2. One's my uncle's and one's mine. So this is my uncle's one. It's actually the bigger of the CDIs that I've got. Absolutely massive. There's no need for it to be so big, but there you go. And then I've just got a few joypads on here because I couldn't fit them all in my drawers. So I've got a Sega Dreamcast controller, an Xbox 360 controller, and the two different Xbox 360 handsets. You've got the older one, the white one, and then here you've got the newer one and the black one there. Lastly then, obviously Sega Dreamcast, as I've already said, is another one there, and below it got the absolutely classic console, the NES. Right, so what we'll do is we'll go around this direction. We'll go on to the games. The first of our my massive bookcases. The top then we've got the Guitar Hero World Tour band game for the Xbox 360, and that includes the drums, guitars, microphone, and obviously the game itself. It's a hell of a lot of fun to play. My drumsticks are actually next to it there, and I've just got an air freshener in here just to keep the room smelling nice, basically. But absolutely loved that. Playing the drums was so awesome. I wasn't used to it. I was just used to playing the guitar, and then getting used to the drums was really, really awesome. Right, so let's move on to the games themselves then. This is the first shelf. Obviously, this is starting with the Xbox 360 collection. If any of you did see my collection video on this, you already know that I've got quite a big collection. Although having said that, some of the games some of the games that I show in that collection video aren't here because my brother, because they're his games, he's taken them with him when he moved out. So it's a good collection anyway, but there's just a few more games that we own that aren't here because he's taken them with him. And then we move on to Nintendo Wii. So again, I'm going to try and make it look as clear as possible. So again, quite a good collection. Considering I haven't had the Wii like that long, it's not too bad. And then moving on to my very slim GameCube collection, and the main reason being I don't have a GameCube, so I don't have a massive incentive to get loads of games. I just play them on my Nintendo Wii. So there's a fair amount there, but just not, absolutely loads. And then it goes on to here my PS2 collection, which again, if you saw my PS2 collection video, you'll see that it went on for about sort of 5 parts, I think it was, because I've just got so many PS2 games. See, it goes all the way along. So there's that. And then it moves into my Xbox One collection, which again isn't that massive because I don't have an Xbox One. It's only because, I play a lot of them on the Xbox 360 because they're compatible that I use them. The only game that isn't compatible is Roller Coaster Tycoon, which really annoys me because I love that game. I can't play it on the Xbox because it's the one game out of the lot here that doesn't work on the 360. But there you go. It's there for the collection. Right, moving down, we're going into the absolutely awesome retro section. So we've got Mega Drive collection here. So I'm trying not to make this too fiddly to watch. So there's my Mega Drive collection. The Tipex spines are really tacky because when I bought the games cheap, it didn't have a cover, so I made a really tacky Tipex cover. But I will look to replace those at some point. So again, not a massive collection for the Mega Drive, but not too bad really. Moving down to the next shelf, we've then got the absolutely awesome Sega Master System, one of my favourite consoles. I've got 2 copies of Sonic 2. Can't remember why. One's discoloured and one isn't, so there's always that, I suppose. If one of them breaks down as well, I've got another one, I suppose. And then it moves into my cheat book collection. Now, I did do a random video a while ago on how many cheat books do you own and showing off mine. I've probably got way too many cheat books. Don't know why I've got so many, but there we go. So there's that. And then down here, this is moving on to the music side of things for a minute. This is basically my absolutely amazing M-Box 2. It's basically, for those of you that don't know, and if any of you musicians out there are interested, it's basically just an audio interface that I use with a piece of software for music mixing and making called Pro Tools 7.4. It's basically like Logic, which I do use as well. I use Logic Pro 8, and also things like if you use Cubase, it's kind of that sort of software. But the thing is, with Logic, you can sort of use it without attaching a piece of hardware to it. It doesn't need anything. But with Pro Tools, if you don't attach an M-Box to it, or some sort of audio interface, it won't even start up. So it literally needs that USB connection with a piece of hardware for it to work. So that's why I've got that. And I got a good deal on that in the end. It's not brand new, but I probably paid about £199 for it, considering it goes for a hell of a lot more. I was really chuffed that I got a really good deal on eBay for that. I absolutely love that to bits. I'm always mixing with that. It's awesome. Now, you can't see, but underneath there's a big black folder with a load of loose PS1 discs in. The cases, as far as I'm aware, are in the loft, so I'll be looking to get them down and put the discs in those at some point. And then on this side, I've got one of the two mixers I have in here. This is the smaller one. This is the VMX 100. It's basically a DJ mixer. It's my brother's, so he bought it. And it's just so cool. I love what it can do. It's quite powerful for its size, and you can do lots of different effects with it, and it's just so much fun to play with, really. So that's that one. I've got a bigger mixer which I will show you guys when we get onto it. So yeah, so that's the first tool bookcase then. So, you know, you've got obviously starting with the Xbox collection, going down through the GameCube, Nintendo Wii, PS2, Xbox One, Mega Drive, Master System, and then my mixers and M-Box down there. Right. Oh, I'm so enjoying this. Okay, next bookcase then. Now, there we go. There's the absolutely fantastic Sonic plushie, which the absolute legend that is Wendy, aka Pop Tart Love 2010. Sorry, very, very massively generous person sent me, and basically it sits guard on top of my bookcase and just guards the games room when I'm not here, to make sure no one who shouldn't come in here comes in here. So absolutely love that to bits. So he's there keeping an eye on things. And then on the left of him there is a load of Nintendo magazines, because I absolutely love Nintendo magazine. And then on the right hand side you've got, obviously, if any games room tour does not include any retro gamer magazines, then it's not a complete games room tour, in my opinion. You have to have some retro gamer magazines if you've got a games room. End of, basically. And then above there I've got two Dreamcast magazines, and then a few PS2 magazines, and then right at the top I've got some Xbox 360 magazines as well. Okay, right, on to the top shelf then, guys. We've got basically a few quite rare, actually, VHSs based on computer games. So this first video is basically based around Mega Drive cheats and tips and stuff. It's a really good video, actually. I really enjoyed it. Next to that I've got a load of Sonic the Hedgehog cartoons, which the Sonic cartoons are just classic, really. And then there's a promo video for Donkey Kong Country showing you behind the scenes how they made the game, etc. And then this one is basically, again, another sort of promo video on Super Mario All-Stars, again giving you quite a few really quite useful cheats that I didn't even know about before I watched the video, so that was really good. And if any of you have ever watched Coronation Street or even watched Takeshi's Castle, Craig Charles, who hosts Takeshi's Castle and is also currently acting in Coronation Street as Lloyd, he actually hosts this video. So it's a very young looking Craig Charles sitting there with a Super Nintendo in his hands. It's somewhat interesting to watch, really. So yeah, and then next to it here is a cartoon of Super Mario World, which is obviously based around the game, so that was really quite awesome to get. And then last thing here, these are actually 3 DVDs in one box, again on Super Mario cartoons, but this is the Super Mario Super Show, I think it is, where you've got the rap at the beginning, where it's got real people acting in it as well as the cartoons as well. So that's really cool too. Right, moving on. These are basically my boxed SNES games, so I've got not many, I've only got about 3 games there, but again, it's nice to have a few boxed games as well, so there's that. And then this here is my Super NES. It's basically an adapter so that I can play any NTSC games on my PAL SNES through an adapter. So because I've got that as well, I don't sort of feel like I need to get an NTSC one unless I just happen to, out of interest, just want to see what it's like. But anyway, next thing then, these are all my loose SNES carts. I've got a fair amount, so I'm quite chuffed with them, but I will be looking to add to them if I ever get a chance later on. And then there's 2 there and also 2 on top. They're obviously the NTSC SNES games. And then here is the Super Game Boy, where you can obviously play Game Boy games on your SNES. And I've currently got in there the Game Boy legendary game Super Mario Land 2's 6 Golden Coins. And then I've just got a few manuals on top there. For example, Super Mario All-Stars manual, which I managed to keep, instruction booklet, which is really nice to have, etc. Right, moving down, because I don't want to sort of make this too long, if I can help it. I don't want to run out of memory as well. Moving on, we've got my NES collection. Again, it's not a massive collection, but again, it's not too bad. It was really funny, actually, because I never really sort of intended to get a NES, and what happened was my nan, she went into cash converters, and she thought that these carts were for the Super Nintendo, because she wasn't too sure about, you know, gaming or anything, and she thought, oh, Dan's got a Super Nintendo, I'll get him this game, it'll work. And at the time I didn't have a NES, I just had a SNES, an N64 and all my other consoles. So she I went to see her one day, and she said, "Oh, I've picked up this for you in a charity, no, in cash converters, sorry." And I looked at her and I said, "Oh, Nan, that's really nice of you, but it's a NES game. I haven't got a NES." And she went, "Oh, you're joking. I thought it was for the Super Nintendo. I thought they looked like that." I said, "No, they're smaller." She went, "Oh, sorry, Dan. Do you want me to take it back?" I said, "No, no, no, it's fine. I'll just keep it for the collection." And that was Chippendale Rescue Rangers that she got, and it was sitting on my shelf for ages. And I kept looking at it, and I kept sort of, every time I walked in my room and was going through my collection, I kept seeing it, and I was like, do you know what? I really want to see how that plays. And that actually caused me to then go and buy a NES in the end, just so that I could play that game. And then obviously I've been able to boost the collection since getting the console. But that actually caused me to get the console. And I don't reckon if my nan hadn't got me that game by mistake, I don't reckon I would actually have a NES now. So that was really quite awesome, to be honest, that she actually caused me to get the NES in the end. And then on the top here, I've got some sort of, they're sort of like, kind of like adapters. They go in the NES. It's really quite strange how they fit in, but yeah, that's basically Micro Machines, the full game, but it's not, rather than it looking like one of the carts, it looks like that. It's a bit strange. And then I've got also an absolutely awesome Game Genie, so cheat cartridge, which is really awesome because especially for Super Mario Bros. 3, if you put some of the Game Genie codes in that with Super Mario Bros. 3 plugged into it, it's really awesome to see what the cheats can do as well. So there's that. Right, moving on. Sega Dreamcast collection then. One of my favourite consoles again. Just love it to bits. Absolutely love it. Got quite a nice collection here. Again, there's a few demo Sega Dreamcast discs there. And then moving on, we've got my PS1 collection. Again, a fairly good collection. I mean, I said I got some loose discs in another folder on the other bookcase, so there's more scope for putting more cases out soon. And again, it carries on down here. Cool. And then all of these here are like basically PS1 demo discs. You used to get with the official UK PlayStation 1 magazine. You used to get loads of different demo discs with them. I've got quite a few of those there. And then moving on again, this is my Nintendo DS collection. Again, then that's not all of it. There are some more cases lying around in the loft that I need to get out and stuff, so it's not everything. And also, moving on to the Game Boy Advance collection, obviously that's all Sonic. I've also got other games as well lying around, which I need to find the boxes for as well. I have got some loose Game Boy Advance carts that are on the bottom shelf of this bookcase as well, so there are more games, than what you're seeing there in my collection. Right, moving down to the next shelf. Now, basically, this is a massive shelf, and I didn't really know what to put on it because I'd sort of put all my games up by then, and I thought, well, what can I fill this shelf with? And I just so happened to have saved the box for my first 360, the Xbox 360 Pro, and obviously I still had the box for my current one I'm using now, the newer ones, and I thought it'd be really nice to just display those on that shelf, because obviously they're still gaming related, and I think they look really nice like that, so I thought I'd put them on there just as nice display items to fill out that shelf, so there's not a massive gap in between the other shelves. So that's that. Moving down onto my PSP collection. Now I must say, some of you might have realised or might not have that I didn't actually show the PSP when I was on the console bookcase. Reason is, I don't know where it is. It's definitely in the house somewhere, because my brother didn't take it with him when he moved out. He left it here, but he can't remember which box he put it in. So until I find it, you're just going to have to look at the collection, and when I do find it, I'll obviously show it to you guys. But obviously, everyone knows what a PSP looks like anyway, so you don't really need as such for me to sort of show it to you and desperately try and find it, because you know what a PSP looks like. It's basically these standard black ones that they brought out originally that I've got. So there we go. And then obviously, as I've just said, there's the collection there. And there's also some quite nice PSP disc cases to protect them that you can put in as well as having them in their own cases. Right, moving on to one of my favourite collections, because not a lot of people have really big collections on the Philips CDI, because it's not one of those consoles that people really sort of knew about or sort of spent much time on, or because it's more of like I don't know, it's one of those consoles where not only did it flop, people just didn't sort of take to it too well. But I'm really proud of the collection because I've got quite a few games, and because I know that a lot of people don't necessarily have a lot of collection when it comes to the CDI. When it comes to the PS2, Xbox, people have got massive amounts of games. It's just crazy. When it comes to the CDI, I don't tend to see people with massive amounts of collection. So I always, in particular, I feel really proud of the CDI collection because it's quite big and people just don't tend to have a lot for it. So yeah, if I pan across then, CDI collection, and again, some of the discs are different sizes because they just came in different cases. So again, it carries on there, and then it also goes up there a bit as well. And then on the top there is the box for the Philips CDI controller, which I managed to save after all these years. So that's really cool. And then coming down here then is basically my Game Gear collection. Basically, there are Game Gear games, and obviously I've got some loose Game Gear games on top there. And obviously I've got another box Game Gear game there, Miss Pac-Man. But here is basically some loose Master System carts. It's quite dark, you can't really see them, but they're basically loose Master System carts. And here is the Master Gear Converter 2, which is basically an adapter you plug into your Game Gear, and then you plug a Master System game into the adapter, and it basically just enables you to play your Master System games on your Game Gear. So literally it extends the amount of games you can play on your Game Gear. So I absolutely love that. And you can't see very well there either, but this is basically where my finger is. That is an adapter where you should be able to play Master System games on your Mega Drive, but it doesn't flipping work. So I keep it because it looks cool, and I can try and pretend it works, but it doesn't work. Basically, the Master System games do fit in the top, and the bottom of it does fit in the Mega Drive, but it just doesn't flipping work. There you go. Right, last shelf then. Basically, these are the rest of my cheat books. So I said on the other bookcase, there's the start of my cheat books. I said to you that I had way too many, and again, they're carrying down here, so I have got an awful lot of cheat books. And these are basically spanning things like the Game Boy, the PS1, PS2, the N64, and even the Mega Drive as well. This one here, which is orange, basically says on it, the bumper book of tips for the Sega Saturn, the 32X, and the Mega Drive. So that is really old, so I'm really proud of it. I'm really quite chuffed to have that. And then here I've got what's called an encyclopedia. Do you get that? Nin-cyclopedia, because it's all about Nintendo. And it's all about loads of different facts about Nintendo and all sorts of really cool facts and features in there. And then on top, as you've probably already seen now, is the rest, well not the rest, because again there's still more games floating about that I still need to find, but some more of my Game Boy Advance collection in terms of loose cartridges. So there's that. And then moving down here, we've got my actual Game Gear itself, the actual system. Now, I could have it out as the actual system, but I tend to keep it in its box just to protect it, and you know, it just stops it getting damaged really. And you know, sure, everyone knows what a Game Gear looks like. Again, I've got the standard black ones that you got originally. I just basically keep it in the box, just I don't know, just so it's protected really. And then above it, I've got to start here, I've got my Game Boy Color collection, which again you can't see very well, but there's a pile there with Rugrats on it, and behind that game there is another pile there, which again is quite dark so you can't really see, and next to it is my Game Boy collection, which again isn't complete, it's not all here, and there's another pile behind it, which again you can't really see very well. There is Donkey Kong there, but basically if I pull it out you'll see Donkey Kong, and the Bomberman's underneath, but you can't see very well. And then also here is what's called, I've got an Explorer 64, and this is basically the ultimate cheat cartridge for the N64. You put the game in the top, put that in the N64 itself, and again a bit like the Game Genie for the NES, you can access loads of different cheats for that. And underneath that I've got some N64 manuals, so things like Superman 64 and Bomberman 64, I've got the manuals for there. And then moving along slightly is my N64 loose carts collection. Although having said that, some of them have got their boxes in the loft, so when I do get them down I will put some of the loose carts into their boxes rather than having them looking like that. I do have one boxed N64 game along here, Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, which is pretty cool, but other than that, until I find the other boxes in the loft, I've just got the rest of the loose carts displayed along there. And then obviously behind there you can see is the Mario Kart Wii with the wheel inside. The game is actually on the shelf, but the wheel's in there as well. So yeah, I know I spent a lot of time on it, guys, but I'm just so proud of it. I just wanted to really show it in as much detail as possible. It only took me about sort of a week to really sort of build the bookcases and get everything in. So